Hey, hey. All right, guys. We are going to do something interesting today. Not sure if everybody can see this. We're just trying out this new format. This is the low resolution, low production value style, but we're going to try out to see, does this format work? Do you guys like this? I'm going to do a few things. We're going to, I'm going to build out a Looker Studio report talking through funnels, right? A lot of people ask us like, hey, how do we do this? What do we do? Well, I'm just gonna try to do it live and see how it goes. And if you like this format, feel free to go ahead and try it out. We do this for our clients every single day. Our entire team does this. And so if you do have a question, drop it in the chat. I will try and get to and talk through that. But what we're going to do is I'm just going to talk out loud while I am building a report. So let me just add this screen and see if we can get this going. Okay. So here we are in a Looker Studio report that is untitled, and we are going to dive into it automatically. Our goal here today is to build out something of a funnel report, right? That's the goal. So let me show you one of our demos. Here is one of our reports. And if we go into one of our offerings like this, you will see a funnel that looks like this, right? So here's one example of a funnel. The biggest thing that we have to really understand before we start diving into funnels is what we are actually trying to achieve. And I'm going to diagram this out to show you what that means. So there are three types of funnels. There's one funnel that is sequenced, meaning that you have to have something has to occur before something else. That is the most complicated type of funnel. We then have non-sequenced. All right, so that's another type of funnel. And lastly, we then have a general, right? So it's maybe not a non-relational, a general / non-relational. Okay, so now that we have these, let me move my mic out of the way here because this is causing us problems. Now that we have these three different types of funnels, we then have to look at, in Looker Studio specifically, which is what we're talking about today, is how do we build these? And I'm going to give you the three, man, today's a rule of threes, the three different types of ways that you can actually do funnels. Okay, type number one is going to be use scorecards and design. All right, so that's the first option. Our second option is going to be using a community visualization. And number three is going to be hacking together it with a hack with normal visuals. All right, so let's just hop into it. I'm going to check really fast just to make sure that it is on YouTube because that is always fun when you do something and you're not 100% sure that it is live. Okay, cool. It is working. So let's hop into here and we will start with a Looker Studio report. So I've got a BigQuery data set here that is of GA4 data. You can see landing page. You can see all these different types of things. This is already pre-prepped, so we're just talking about Looker Studio today. But let me show you how we're going to build these out. So if I come in here and add a chart, and let me add a scorecard. Let me make this bigger for you guys playing at home. And so here we could do item views, item list views. We then have item views. We then have add to carts. And we then have, I'm just going to do purchases. And there we go. So here is a funnel. And this is a pop quiz because in some websites, right, it is possible to have view item lists be less than the actual view items, specifically an e-commerce site, okay? So just keep that in mind. That is a funnel right here. So if you can see this, now we have an idea of saying, okay, this type of funnel is going to be the non-sequence because you don't have to view the item list to, in fact, view the items. So where do we build this out into a funnel? So the simplest way, and just for the sake of simplicity, I'm going to make this into just a three-part funnel. The simplest way to do this is you can actually just add little visual cues, right? So let me just add in a bar here. Why is it not making a bar? Okay, so the simplest thing is we have visual cues, and we could make this bigger. We could then have a lesser one, and then we could have a lesser one, right? And so now what we could do is we could take these, put them over here. Let me actually send all of these to the back. All right, and now we have these off to the races. All right, so now it is a funnel. It might not be pretty, but you get the idea. Okay, that's version number one. All right, we're going quick here. You can make it look prettier and change these colors if you would like to be light green. And we could go right here to blue, and we could go here to obviously, this is probably gonna be purple, right? That's the ta-da, funnel number one. Okay, so now let's talk about other ideas. Up here at the top, you will see community visualizations. If you open up this to explore more, you can come down here and you can find a couple of different visuals. We have these metrics funnel by Power My Analytics. We also have, where is the other one? It's here. Why can I not find it? Okay, we're going to use this one. So we're going to use the Power Analytics. What you will notice is when you grant access, a lot of organizations come to us and say, "Hey guys, are we okay doing this?" And the answer to that is yes. We actually have this. This is right here. This is our community visualization, and it is no longer like you can't have access to anything. So I can barely even view the number of people who like have actually downloaded it. It's very hard for us to view any type of data, and so I would not too concerned with you guys with anybody accessing it. So let's just again go into this one. Here we go, and we're going to do the exact same concept of this. So if you look at this, um, I'm going to build the same exact thing. So here we have the item views. We then have add to carts. And then we'll just use the one-time purchases. Item views. There we go. And just to keep things super like normal with it, you can come over here into the style tab of this one. And we're just going to match the colors because I want to make it look the same. So in order to do that, you can come down into the theme section. Let me find this. Custom gradient, and then all we've got to do is pick our colors: top, middle, and bottom. Ta-da! All right, so here's another method of doing this. And this one is nice because as you change the different date ranges, these will always connect together, right? So this will connect to this, to connect to this, to connect to that, which is honestly a really awesome thing. A lot of people really enjoy that because it connects together the way that a lot of custom BI tools do. Okay, now let's talk through another option. If you come up here into the normal charts, where is it? Okay. Okay. Bar charts. There we go. That's what we're looking. I don't know why I had a little brain fart. Another option you can use to kind of articulate the same idea is where you then take your date and you can say, I want to have one-time purchases. I then want to also have, let me see, view items. And we're going to have add to carts and one-time purchases. Item views, add to carts, one-time purchases. And we can have this broken down by whatever our heart desires. I'm just going to do this by date. And so now you have a little tiny funnel for every single date, okay? And this is another way to do things. It's not the easiest to fully understand because as you have more dates, as you have more times, it becomes more complicated. Uh, so just keep that in mind as you go and as you like talk with people. Um, it does become more complicated to manage something that looks like this over a long period of time. Okay, so we've got 3 options now. We got this option, and this option. Let's now talk about how we did this, right? This is something that people ask us about all the time, and I want to build this out so you have it right now in front of your face. What this does is this shows us the number of people who saw the offer, which let me go up to visionlabs.com/lab. What that is this page. And I'm just going to walk you through exactly how this works. So on this page, we then have the number of offer impressions. So people who loaded that page. I now have been impressed with this offer. I am now aware of the offer once I've spent 10 seconds on that page, right? Once the timer ticks to 10, I have now spent 10 seconds on that page. We then have engage, which is 20 seconds and 50% scroll. And then people who have viewed an event visibility of the pricing table for at least 5 seconds. And then people who have have initiated is click to checkout. So just for the sake of here you go. That's where it is. And you hit join now. Would love to have you in there if you are watching this later. So now that we have this all situated, let's build it out. So I'm going to then do this much simpler. We're going to use our same idea of view item, add to cart, and purchase. We are going to make a new page. And let's just add that chart. So this is actually using the funnel metric here, or metric funnel. And let's go back here to setup. Let's go with, let's just do something a little bit less to demonstrate one of the other types of funnels. So we have record count, sessions, right? Sessions total. Then we're going to have add to cart, begin checkouts, purchases. All right, we got 4 here. So this one's a little bit less sexy, but let's go back into see this right here. So this is going to be a little bit different, but you'll get the idea. So now how do you do the rest of this? The first thing is you want to come over to style and make it look not boring. I know that sounds really, really odd, but let's go in here. You can go to template gradient. They have all these different options. And I'm just going to use this one for the sake of let's keep moving, right? And so now we can add in this. And then sometimes Looker Studio does want to play a little bit of a game here. Okay. Then what we're looking at is we are literally adding in a spike line chart. So here we can add in a spike line chart here. And that's how it looks. So now we could do session date and we want to do session. We can rename this to sessions later. And the background we can then change to be the same. We can use the same orange if we want to. And then we can add in a background. This is the part that people don't realize is we can add in a background of any color that we'd like to. So if you come in here and hit white and then you hit plus, you can then actually change this to be any color you would like it to be. And at the same time, you can actually change it to be transparent. And then if you hit the plus, let me do this. Oh, wait, no, not there. There's always a million ways. Background color is what we're looking for. That's what we want. And then you can make that white, and then you can take the transparency and take it to like 80%. And now you can see through that. So now if I take that, and then we go in here, make it a 20-point rounded corners, you can start to see how this is going to come through. And then we can change the background of this to be something like this. Let me just show you. And if we change the background of our entire page, so page, current page settings and style, background, let's do something a little bit cooler. So let's go with a modern blue off-white. And now you have this. If you go to view mode, you can now see, hey, we now have a little bit of a spike line chart. It lines up with that. And we can copy that over. So I'm going to make this a little bit smaller, if it will let me. Make this a little bit littler. All right, so now we have these right there. So we can take this. I'm just going to copy and paste this across. And we will then have add to carts. And then begin checkout. And let's go with one-time purchases. And then all you've got to do is hop in here and change these to be the colors, just so that it matches the aesthetics. All right, so now we have something a little bit similar. You can tweak this and make it a little bit different. But now it's the cool part is that if you were to say, hey, I want to highlight a section, you can now highlight that section, and we are now filtering everything to see exactly that section as opposed to the other types of views. Okay, so now we are cooking, guys. We have a little chart. We now have these in here. Let's talk through the other ways you can use these funnel reports to really dive deep. Okay. I'm going to add a control of a date range control. All right. And let's do the last 7 days to keep things a little bit spicy. And that obviously doesn't work. Oh, because this data source is older. Sorry, guys. This is I think this was like in January when I built this. So give me a second here. Through April. So let's just do this at a fixed size. We're going to go to fixed through, let's just look at January as 1 month. Okay, there we go. So now we're looking at January. We got 1 month. Let's just make this a little bit prettier here with a white background. Let's go with white. We can round the corners. Here's a pro tip, folks. Is you make those round and then you bring this up. Now it's rounded. So if you take this, order, send to back. So like now you'll have these little rounded corners if you ever make it full screen like that. If you want that, that is how you do that. A lot of that's in that sentence. All right. I'm going to take a quick coffee break. Okie dokie. Cool. So now we have the idea of a list here. Let me pull this up. Pow. And now we have a little funnel. The other thing that people oftentimes forget about is to turn off the hover states. Those are only really used in a handful of use cases. So what I like to do is if you go to theme and layout, and then you go to customize, and then you scroll all the way to the bottom, and then you scroll up some, and you turn this to do not show. It then goes away. So now when you hover over it, it's nice and clean. Okay, so now you can see here, hey, we're rocking a clean piece. The other piece you want to really dive into is if you need a breakdown. So like sometimes I'm going to use, let's just add a chart here. And here, if you want to look at dates, like for example, say the most important thing was to notice the dates of like, hey, when did we have the most sessions? Well, now if you add this next to it, you can easily allow somebody to change the filter and see exactly how that behaves differently. It's a really like easy way for people to drill in very fast into a funnel. It happens all the time where people want to dive into say, hey, what was the conversion rate of this? And so if we were to take this date, what we could do is we could say, hey, let's make this into the one-time purchase. Divided by the sum of session count distinct. And then we can call this conversion rate. And so now we have a funnel. We've done two things, right? Let me turn this into a percentage. And so now we have a conversion rate for every single day. And if we have one that's low or high, we can visually see, okay, the 24th, we had 0.31. Ooh, no one really added to cart. Like, that's the problem. Or we can look at this and we can say, hey, why did we crush it this day? Was there anything in particular? This funnel by itself is a little bit out of left field, but it does allow you to say, hey, how are we able to do this? So that is how that works. I'm going to just put in a little bit more of styling on this page so that you have this example in front of your face. And that's going to be it for today. This has been a trial, a little bit of a trial theme just to see, hey, how does a live call work? We didn't email our list. We didn't tell anybody this was going to happen. But I just wanted to kind of see, hey, what's the process look like? How did we actually do this? Is this format worthwhile for people like yourself to look at? And we are going to metrics, numbers. I want to then put this as the alternating colors. And we can make the header a cool color. Bam, red. Not pretty, but bold. So now you can have those. The other piece we could do here is, again, just to make things easier to look at. Let's not make that color. The other thing you can do is you can take any type of metric here, some number. We can actually take it into a bar and show the number, and then we can pick a color like orange. And now you can visually see every single site's conversion rate. So at a quick little glance, you can say, okay, we didn't do great today. Was the problem there's no data? Probably. And so either purchases went down, something happened there. We can dive into any in particular day and see, okay, we're crushing it at 6% for add to carts. We're averaging 7%. What is the problem there? And we can dive into any individual day. We can change the date range. And now we have a funnel. So now you should have at least 3 different ways to look at a funnel. We could build it ourselves like this. This is kind of the most basic way. We then have a dynamic funnel here. And then we have a time-based funnel down here. And lastly, we layered in a funnel plus time series plus a table to give you the most flexibility as you're building out funnels. So guys, without further ado, this has been a test to see how funnels work, how live streaming works on YouTube, and just to talk through, does this format work for people like you? Thanks, guys, so much. See you later.